Got it?
And I know how to do the acceleration. So.
You know, yes. So you remember that. So just do mixed. Sometimes do an actual just regular slurs. Sometimes do just completely separates. So don't get into just doing it one way because you will get bored and
Right.
you will start wasting your time. Yeah. The moment your brain is not actively participating in, what do I do next? How do I solve this? It's time to change the approach. Okay. Now, am I hearing Vitali today, or what are we going?
I don't really know exactly what rep is. But
Rep? What do you mean you don't know what rep is?
reputation, but I don't know.
No, repertoire. Rep stands for repertoire. And anything that is not etudes, that is not scales and exercises is repertoire.
Okay. Well,
Wow. Rep.
I've been practicing it.
You've been too much at leadership camp, I guess. Is that what so rep means something
Represent or
there? Yeah. Okay.
Okay. I do have Big Trolley. I also have the Bach Partita.
Oh, great. You know what? Let's start with the Bach. Just so we get some more direction to be a little bit.
But I have the first movement. Sort of.
Great.
First and second page.
Great. So flip the page so you don't have to turn. Yeah. Go ahead and tune. Actually, my phone is getting charged right now, so let's check the ego. Go ahead.
I'll come over here.
Play. That he still doesn't. Just that. That's better. Okay. So, why don't we start one more time from
I can do.
from here? Let's start here where it takes also. Now, can you make sure that there is melodic logic to what you're doing?
Does that mean like sort of the interval thing? Like
Well, when you know how melody goes and you're singing, you know how there is the possibility of just shaping it and enjoying it. And if you're guessing every next note, it is just note by note, and and I know that we're just trying to remember what the next pattern is and so on. But now that you have all of that in front of you, let's see if we can play that in a more voice-led way. It's nice that you're bringing the whole piece today.
except I have to sort of slow down the last page, so I have to get that up to the rest of the speech.
Yeah, so you start practicing from there. Yeah, and until you have it memorized, maybe it's a good idea to get
Not double
copies. Yes, so you can spread them out. Do you have stand extensions at home?
No.
Like these?
I don't.
You know what I'm talking about?
Yes.
These, yeah, you need to get yourself. Do you have a stand like this, or you don't?
I have like a stand that has a little compartment right here. That has stuff where I can hold myself.
You need a stand that you can eventually extend. It's like your working desk, and I mean, right now it's not necessary that you will be playing for more than 3 pages at a time, but so maybe at least photocopy the last page so you can have 3 of them out. Yeah. Yeah, eventually when you start
I
doing
have a copy
work
of
like
it,
me,
but
when I mark a lot of stuff and so on, then you need this because you need to
I
have.
think I have a copy right here.
Oh.
I don't know if it's yours.
Okay, let's not worry about it right now. The reason I'm mentioning this is you have to be able to play through without stopping anywhere because of the stamina issue here. Now, Ella, how did you work on your détaché? Do you remember what we talked about it?
We talked about the exercise thing.
Which one?
Is it
Show me.
Kreutzer?
Show me.
Oh,
Show me.
It's
Yeah, it's Kreutzer too. Yes, but show me.
Kreutzer, but
Yeah.
I forget exactly what the
Starts with a C. It starts with a C.
I forget what the H is, but
Oh, how can you forget Kreutzer too? Ella,
know.
that's impossible. That's the agent. Yes. So what do we do
So
with that?
in the first quarter of it, you use the bottom of the bow, like the first quarter of the bow, basically.
Well, you could do it in the first quarter of the bow, but did you do it in other parts of the bow?
Yes, and
So
when you move,
show me when you do it in the third quarter of the bow. That's where I'm. Third quarter, which is the third quarter? You're in the fourth quarter. Yeah, third quarter would be from the middle of the bow to here.
oh,
So because half, first quarter, second quarter, third quarter, fourth quarter. Yes. So it was. Do you have the recording of that lesson?
yes,
Did you watch it?
I did at one point.
We need to have
I'll
a greater
watch it.
level of retention because the things that I'm showing with lessons, they're not just random things that come on the spur of the moment. Those are principal things that you need to take into account and just use as proper building blocks and not just something that is disposable. So for you to work on the détaché, so you repeat each note, but you have to do each one with just the least amount of tension. And because the reason I started this thing with how do you work on your détaché, looks very rigid.
So, don't you make it more?
So yes, it needs to be. You have to feel looser in your apparatus for it. Part of the problem is that just think it's the wrist that looks very very rigid as you play. It's almost as if everything is just forearm, and you don't really feel the intricacies of the dynamics going through this part of you. It's like you're holding the bow, so you're holding the object like this, and this is all of the sensitivity that you get with the hand. You need to do much more than that, because remember that your point of contact goes through the index finger, right? That's the last control. Yeah, that's like when a doctor prescribes medicine, who is the last person to see what the patient takes? It goes to the pharmacist, right? So the doctor prescribes, but the pharmacist is the last person that checks on if things are, yeah. So your index finger is like the pharmacist. That's the last check there. And the intent for sound, it comes from your internal sensitivity, right? And your ear, what you want to hear. If that part is not there, then the index finger is idle. It doesn't know what to do. So you always need to give it a task of some sort. So the rest of you has to be very free. Your body will figure out what to do as long as you know what amount of expression you need to inject, for the lack of better word, into the bow, into the string. Okay. So could we just do the so repeating in third quarter of the bow. Ultimately, you have to practice in all parts of the bow, but for just etude, that's the most useful part for you. Great. Make sure that the third finger is not too shallow. It shouldn't be too deep either. What is the Goldilocks place for that? Yes, exactly there. You know it. So just feel that, because this also has very big importance. And different bows have different diameters of the sticks here. I want you to first of all feel the diameter of your bow. You know it probably like the back of your hand. Now, put your hand here and see how different mine is. Do you see how much smaller it is? And yet it is just a very strong bow. And now compare that to a much more conventional bow. Compare that diameter to this. Completely different. So with your third finger, if you just have your awareness on the diameter of that part of your bow, you will feel it at all times. And then the détaché will make sense. But your index finger really has to be the pharmacist here, okay? Good. Right. So you practice that on your etude, so you don't have to do this kind of work on a piece of art, right? Because the moment you turn this prelude into an etude, yeah, it will be very difficult to recover the music afterwards. Now, you have to work on it because of the patterns and all that with rhythms, no question about that. But that's a different type of work. So the détaché throughout needs to become much more singing, especially when you get to the parts that don't sing yet, like so. So can I hear you starting from here? We'll talk about other things as well, but with that level of freedom, yes. So, but now your index finger is not reading command because it's not playing for you. Yes. Okay, so now can we do that one more time? I still hear. I'm exaggerating. I'm kind of making a really bad caricature of what you're playing. So again, can we produce a melody out of what we're playing? So not staccato notes, but so even though you're playing on separate bows, think legato mode for the music making.
So, like connecting more, making it more smooth?
Yeah, otherwise, that's what we got. You heard it.
It keeps going.
Yeah, and this is on the string crossings, that's what's causing that. So, why in the world on string crossings your bow would be having those blank spots? What does that tell us? There's something you can do better while you pivot the bow.
Maybe.
So
like
the pivoting, there's just something blank right there on the pivoting. Yes. And for how many strings do we go to the G string on this crossing?
2.
2?
Wait. Oh, I thought you said G string.
Yeah. So I mean, oh yeah, you're counting in the measure, but at the time it's one note at a time, and it's on a down bow. So you have to make sure that the pivoting. And then same thing. The same thing with the crossing through the A string. It has to be with much more skillful pivot. You got it. So it was the angle, wasn't it? Now, can you
Because
put
it
it?
was more
Yeah.
yeah.
Now, play the down bow and freeze. Okay, so the D string as you pivot, do you see how it's about a centimeter lower on the bow? Yeah, so that's the exact pivoting angle that is going to give you the smoothness. Yeah. Now, can you be really free? And each string has a very precise weight. So make sure that until the very end of the down bow, the G string is still sounding. And the moment you go to the D string, it instantly sounds. Yes.
Except I
Yes.
said
Yeah, so don't really stop the bow, just keep pivoting back and forth, but with a precise weight. Yes. Try with more weight. Yes. Yes. And now context. Yes, let's get this much easier. Yes, it's very good going to the D string. It's not too hot going back to the G string. So up, down. Yes. So back to the G string. The bow is going to be high on the string. High on the, it's getting better, but some of the things we haven't talked about, some of the string crossings we haven't talked about are still sloppy. So far, so good. And then going back to the C sharp. Going back to the E has to be good. Yeah, so it's not just one string crossing. You have to come back to the string. So all of those linkages have to be really good.
there's
Now,
more string crossings than I thought. I said there's more string crossings.
oh yeah, just a real athletic thing for this. That's why you have to be really supple and really loose. Now, can we do that one more time with awareness on the tone production from this? So feel the diameter of the stick. Feel the diameter of the stick with the third finger and go. Down. So down. Up. Yes.
So many string crossings.
So, yeah, it's actually better than using the fourth finger. So kind of reconcile yourself that you will stay in one position, and this is going to be very localized. Well, just you. getting again a little bit edgy and staccato. So keep the legato feel of the melody.
I'm trying to figure out how to do that kind of motion, but without doing staccato.
Well, if you start overdoing this, the motion itself might end up stopping the bow on the bow changes. So just think about constant motion in the bow. And now, Ella, what messes you up is that you're using exactly the same amount on each note, which is fine. And as you go closer to the E string, normally what happens? You start creeping to a lower part of the bow. Even if you keep playing with the same amount of bow, you understand why that happens. Put your bow in the G string. Yeah. So because of that, yeah. So yes. So but now if you start, you can either move a little bit higher on the bow gradually, or you just account that you're lower on the bow, and it's going to feel slightly different to get the same effect. So whichever it is, I cannot tell you which is right and which is wrong. You have to find it for yourself and make it work. Okay, great. And it's absolutely fine on the high string to use a lot of bow. That was great. So now let's see what is bothering you with the fingerings and.
Well, it's not the fingerings. It's just my fingers sort of
So. Yeah, and some people actually play this with an extension. I remember being your age learning this thing. The extensions were just so hard for me to do, and that's why we're doing it with string crossing, because Baroque players play with a lot of string crossings and very few extensions. So you probably should come up with the A string. So this is supposed to be the A string here, because the A string is, let's just make sure that it's there. So. And then you just have to walk back.
I thought I just.
Then go to E string.
Oh, I did that.
Yeah, now it will be much more efficient. Actually, the 1-1 is not that. So you will have to reset the hand in a much more efficient way though. So I'm going to erase this. Get the hand in a diminished triad. Do you know what I mean when I say diminished triad?
Like the diminished seventh.
Yeah, but it's only the first 3 notes of it. Yes. So it's a very special fingering with all minor thirds. Yes. So prepare your hand for that. Now,
two diminished things.
Are you playing this with the 3rd finger or with probably with the 3rd? The B is with the 3rd. Then the G sharp also. Yeah, you can do it with the 2nd or. No, it's very difficult with the 3rd. I was thinking maybe. Yeah, 2nd finger, definitely 2nd finger on this. Now, can I hear this one more time from here slowly? Now, I asked you to do it slowly because I don't want you to be doing this sort of, I don't know what I'm playing. I want you to give yourself enough time to think so you create a good flow with no garbage in it. It's for your own good. I mean, to my ears, I'll forget it, but it's going to stay in your head if you've done it like that. So let's do it well. Yes. Now here, let's see also. Now, how bad would it be for you if we put the unmentionable fingering, which is 1 1 1? So instead of two, instead of three, let's start. Let's try. Yes. So it's. Yes. So the thing is that the sequence starts on the beat, right? So. Right, that's those are the sequences. So those are like structural downbeats because of that. So there's this. Do you see my timing? I can't really describe what I'm doing. It's a reflex. It's kind of an internal thing that happens. There's that da 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 da.
Like that little space there.
Yeah, but it has to be just for you. I don't want to hear that as an audience member, right? Yes, so it's then a question of a very quick reset from this part of your hand, because you have to reach back for the F natural, and then you have to reset into a normal position. So because we changed the fingering, so and do you know what? Look, I'm steering from the hand a little bit for the third. Yes, yes. Yes, and now we really have to avoid all of those slides. That's why we had the really difficult fingering before that, but it was kind of locking your hand. So just B, C, down bow if you don't mind. Yes, and now Ella, one more thing. Do you see how part of my finger is still on the A string? So I don't have to jump to get there. So can you press? Up down, please. Up down. Yes. With no slide. So try to slide. Yes. And now. Yes. So that's what needs to happen here. And now let's see. So this is also locking your hand. This is also not working for you. So so let's try. So it's again 1 1. So a really athletic 1 1 thing. So that will be a big opening. Yes, because it's a 7th. Yes. Now look, Ella. So for this, do you see what the frame of your fingers is? It's on the major third. So major third. Now for the G sharp, you need to place the finger here, so that leaves a step and a half here. But the frame is still the same because you have to come back to the same F sharp. Ah. Yes. Yes. And then you have to come back to an E. So half step for the G. Yeah, and let go of that G sharp. Let go of it sooner so you can prepare the E in tune. Yes. Now your E though, this E should not be flat. Yes. Because look, these notes, they're the same as these three, just in reverse. Yes. Yes. And now with your tongue, can you please not leave this kind of Yes. Yes. So another way. Yes. Yes. But hide that lip. That's the idea. Now, still this stack with the whole steps is not in tune. Yes, and can you put it because so sing it. Yeah, I know what is happening. When you're afraid that it's going to be out of tune, you do double whammy. You go with bad sound too. So it's better to just roll your sleeves metaphorically and get the intonation there, because once you're sure about the intonation, you will also play with much more secure tone. Thank you, Lord. Okay. So you need to work this out. So let's keep going. Yes. So let's just one also is not working with your hand. So we.
Guessing it's the same one.
Yes. So it's the same idea. Yes. Now here, since we are using open A string here, so basically our pattern of the string crossings begins from here with the compound melody. One could make a case for it starting from here, but this will sound this will sound brighter and nicer. So just follow the fingerings here. Yes. Now, Ella, do you mind playing it better in tune? That B, the B. Yeah, don't be flat on the B. Yeah, and again we're getting just sound with the swells and with the always with the full honest sound, even if it's piano. Yes, and now we need better string crossing, because again they started sounding. Even though it's a melody, it's actually harmony. So as you're playing this chord, you really have to hear the system. Yes. So yeah, one of my teachers used to say, in Bach you have either harmony or melody, and if you have arpeggios like this is harmony. And the ear perceives that as if the notes are played together. So that's why they have to be so well in tune. Okay? And then we have into this, we don't really have compound melody in this, because all of this is just harmonic progression. Right? Yeah, so it goes around the circle of fifths on this. So can we start from here and here? I'm writing intonation, but I also put here harmony, because this chordal stuff, I know it's a very simplistic thing, but in music, simplification like this is very useful. I used to resent this kind of because I was so much into music theory and always being able to put the exact Roman numerals and everything to everything, and then some boy just comes and says, well, whenever you have writing like this, it's harmony, and then when you have scales, it's melody. It was like, wait a second, this is so primitive. How could it possibly? But things that are primitive, they're intuitive, and usually they're right in music. So take this advice seriously, okay? Do you hear the so so it's what is this chord? It's a C sharp major chord, right? And then what do we have after that? F sharp minor. So it's another simple triad that we have to get in tune. Now, Ella, from chamber music, I don't remember. Did we do much tuning of chords with your group, or we didn't get that far in the coachings? Did we talk at all about tuning intonation from the root of the chord? Actually, it's not really the root of the chord. It has to be the prime. Yeah. So look, in chamber music, if we have to tune, let's say, a C sharp minor chord, actually, let's say C sharp major. Just and let's say the cello has the C sharp, the first violin has the top one, then the second violin has the fifth, and the viola has this. If this is the case, the first thing for us to do is going to be to get the octave right, because that's the prime of the chord. That's the one. That's not the third. That's I guess it's called the root of the chord. Although the root of the chord, if it's in inversion, it can be something else, but you understand what I mean by this, right? The note from which the thirds start building for the chord. So the next interval to tune is going to be the fifth. So the octave, the fifth, and the last thing to add is the third. Now from that, think about intonation that we talked last time with Yuri. You heard the end of her lesson. What was specific about those intervals, the fifth and the octave? What kind of consonants are they as compared to the third and the sixth? They're perfect consonances and they're fixed pitches. I mean, there could be no tweaking those. They to the ear, they sound whatever they are. Now with the third, we have a little bit leeway, right? And that's why we leave that interval last to tune. So now, taking this into account, which note? Let's go one by one. So what was the first chord that we had? So we had the F sharp minor first, right? So for this chord, if you're tuning that in chamber music, what would you tune first?
The A's.
So it's no, the A's are the thirds in this chord because this chord is F sharp minor.
Oh.
So what would you tune first? F sharp.
Well,
because that's the root of the chord, okay?
yeah. I was
Yes.
thinking of the second note. So.
But do you understand what I'm talking about?
So, yeah.
So okay, so if you have, so here's your F sharp and C sharp here, right? Now, even if the chord is in inversion like this is the root of the chord. This is the base of the chord, okay? So this is always going to be the first note that you tune. The second note that you tune is going to be the fifth of it, and then you fit.
So it's the first note, fifth, and
And yeah. Now the A also happens to be a ringtone of the violin, so that's like a double. That's a way to check whether your other two are in tune. Yes, right. But to your ear, that is going to be the safest way to know whether things are in tune or not. So you all right. Now, what is the next chord that we have here? C sharp major. So what do we tune first here?
The C sharp.
Right. Next.
Then the G sharp.
Yes, and then the third last. And then what do we have here? It's another F sharp minor. So it's the same business that, and then here what do we have here again? C sharp, B sharp, G sharp. What's that?
It's a C sharp major.
Yeah. So basically we go back and forth between. Yes. So that will help with the intonation on the spot. So. Yeah. Ooh, are you hearing it not being in tune? So can you? It's major third. Yes, it's major third because we're still in C sharp. Yes. So basically, we have this C sharp almost in 2 octaves. Right there. Yes. Now, can you play the simplified version of it as I've been showing you? So the octave, like in ensemble music, you want that octave to be in tune first. So do you see where the 2/5 are in this? Can you play them by themselves? And the next one? C sharp, G sharp. Yeah, you can lift the finger for that, you know? Yeah, Ella, please don't play the intervening notes. I want you to see the frame of this. So it's C sharp, G sharp, right? And then the other C sharp, G sharp. So these have to be in tune. If we have to simplify it further, it's going to be, and then those octaves have to match. So can we hear the C sharps matching? Good. And the G sharps? And now. Right. And now we just have to put in the third. We have to fit in the third. Right. And now you're ready to play the passage.
My sound is.
Yeah, your G sharp is a little bit sharp. That's yes. Yes. So this kind of approach is going to help your ear a lot, especially when there is a whole measure worth of the same harmony going on. Now, can we tune the F sharp minor here? Mm-hmm. So the A's were the last thing to tune, but the C sharp should be the next. The C sharps. After the F sharps, do the C sharps. Right, because that's the fifth of the chord.
So it's that's okay. It's not next to each other.
Mhm. Mhm.
The third. That's a major. And
Mhm.
would be the fifth.
Yes. So that's the fifth of the chord. Yes. So
So it's
exactly. Now, just one. I use the first finger to kind of anchor. I'm talking about technique here, not about music. So I'm measuring the extension from the first finger for both fingers, and then yes. So whatever way you can do that, because this is not an easy spot here. And then once you're in second position, then you stay in second.
wait.
Mhm. Yeah, and here just for this one, it's similar. Now here for this one, I would recommend the following fingering. Just so it would be like walking back with the second finger. Mhm. Yes, and now just will be with an open string, because again we talked about soprano, alto, tenor, and bass, right? About so you wanted to keep that voice in the alto. Yes, and now so we have our little cadence. So our cadential chord, our dominant chord, and the resolution for F sharp minor. So in just cadence right here, you want to have a much better intonation. So it all makes sense in F sharp minor. Yes. Now, what is the role of the E sharp in F sharp minor? What do we call that? The high seventh scale degree in any key. What do we call that? When it's a half step from the tonic. It's called leading tone. So that's the leading tone. Don't play it flat. Yes. Yes. And then the F sharp has to be exactly the same that you use all the time. Yes. Yes. Okay. Now the rest actually here is pretty good. I'm a little bit concerned about intonation on the first page. So the things that we talked about, melody, harmony, and how to tune the harmony. So obviously the octaves have to match. I'm more concerned when you start playing in the fourth position here. So, but yes. Now, what do we have? What is that? So, what are those first three notes? E major chord, right? So the same principles of tuning apply here as well. So you want, even though the third of the chord is first, that's the last thing that you will tune. You want the fifth and the tonic to, yes. Yeah, and then the B that you have played here, you want it to match the one in the scale. Yes, so that first finger really has to be kind of the anchor of, yes, so don't play it flat. Your tendency is really to get flat on it, so don't play flat on it. Yes, and now, what key are we in, Ella? What is the key? Right, so in E major, what is the function of the D sharp? I'm talking, well, from theoretical point of view, the seventh scale degree that is half step from the tonic, what do we call that? Right, so can you please give it its proper tuning in this case? Yes, so do you see how by not playing it flat, you're actually going to solve the issue of the rest of the stack being out of tune? Yes. Okay, so you need to tune all of this. Now, ultimately, all of the prelude needs to get faster. Again, pay more attention to the quality. So, it was a little bit too much of it. So, it was a little bit too much of that one. So try to do it with minimal involvement here. Don't miss the E string. Yes. Yes, just don't yes, but don't miss the E string. So you just need to reach a little bit more with this, but not so much from here. Yes, and now here you can start applying those tuning principles again, because we've got E major triad, right? Right. Yeah, but now your E's, yes, they have to match and fit and so on. Okay, so that's for this. Now let me check the time. Oh my goodness, it's past 11, and I have to. Okay, it's all right, because just you needed some direction on this. Now you know what to be doing.
And I'm still working on my Vitali.
I know.
And on
You've been working on your Vitali for a long time.
I got all the way to there.
Good. Okay.
Except I just need to pull out 6.
So are you a better composer of it now? Good.
And
Glad to
then
hear that.
I'm working more on this stuff. Then I got the correct counting
Yeah.
because I had it wrong, and I've been working a little past, and that's what I'm taking.
Okay. So, but you haven't done.
I started that. It's kind of
Okay.
hard.
So these are triplets. And this is on the string.
Is this the second one like staccato?
Yes. So it's with the. So it's much more subtle. So it's not with huge bow and it's in piano, but
And then this
once you get
is-
here. And what else? You were going to ask something? You had a question in your mind, and I interrupted you because I kept playing. This is just on the string. This is.
Oh yeah,
so,
I was gonna ask about
so.
this. Sort of.
So.
Do you want it to sound sort of like? Because my book kind of skips on the A string.
So think of it as a type of balayage, this thing. There's a certain amount of mixing of the string, so it's almost like a chord. So the important thing is that we hear the moving voice by itself. Okay. Then these guys here. So you have to have the chord prepared in the left hand. And then you go on.
And I
that.
figured that measure out.
Good. I'll hear that next time.
Okay.
Now, once you get to this bit here. So you just work your left hand as double stops. So it basically becomes yet another type of balayage action for the bow.
Okay.
Yes. Okay.
Thank you.
So let's make sure that you get at least to number 10 next time.
Okay.
Because it's going to be a while before I see you, right?
Right.
So
Do
I
you
don't
have
see
me scheduled anywhere?
I think
Because
it's.
my mom was wondering.
I know that you're out of town this Saturday. So I think I have it for next Saturday. Let me double check. We're done, by the way.
Oh,
So
okay.
yeah.